What is going on, guys? We are back for our second week of training. Derek and I decided to get out down the beach today. We are down at, what do you call it? Do you call it Salt? I call it Salt Creek, you call it Monarch.
I call it Monarch.
You call it Monarch. Okay, we'll call it Monarch. Derek's
I think he's right though.
we're between like the Monarch Hotel, like, yeah, okay. Amazing area, cool little kind of half court basketball spot here. So I haven't actually told Derek what I felt like we would possibly do, but because we've got like a shorter space, I've been thinking about putting together some movements that work on some like reactivity. So it might be a few more movements like on the spot where we're trying to get back to a certain place. So a bit of like braking action, change of direction kind of vibe to it. Not like change of direction, but like change of direction of momentum.
Sure.
And then maybe we'll make it, the dynamic stuff will have a lot more bilateral work in it, and we'll see how that sort of feels. I know you said that your lower legs were a little fried after early in the week in terms of what you did.
Tuesday, yeah. So I ran on some asphalt, probably ran about 2.5 miles, did some plyo work on some stones. So yeah, my legs were a bit sore. I'm actually feeling pretty good. Yeah. Nothing too crazy or noticeable today, so I'm all right.
Yeah. I think once we get into it as well, we'll start to feel pretty good. So we'll rock and roll with we'll do about 4 or 5 light tier movements. Then I think we'll maybe do like a couple of ramp up movements where we'll like build an intensity of maybe doing just some like basic on the spot bilateral. We'll do a sequence where you start relatively light and it just gets gradually longer air times in it. So yeah, let's get rolling with it. And yeah, stay tuned for some fun in today's session, guys. Okay, cool. We're gonna use a couple of movements just to get going here. So we'll start around in here and we'll move out just to that sideline there. So we're gonna start with like a crisscross sleep. So keep it super light. Just getting some feeling here. I'm probably gonna hit a few landings that are quite casual, tentative. All right, cool.
Rhythm's nice.
Already start to feel a little bit of cool. This next movement is some bounds, but I'm going to change that for, I think it's split stance sleeps. Yeah, let's do that. Let's not get into unilateral just so quickly. Okay. Using the speed and power program, the intermediate sessions, the 2-day split. So we'll go, let's just do 10 landings on a split stance. Again, keep it relatively light and easy. You're good.
Don't do that.
Keep rolling. Cool. You wander back and I'll just double check that this is still rolling. Yeah, we're good.
We good?
We're good.
Cool.
Probably should attach it a bit better. Okay, change legs.
Yep.
As with anything like super light, it's so important for you to start feeling where you want to stack the body best, how you want those movements to feel when it gets to something a bit more intense is always super important and valuable for your athletes, or if you're an athlete yourself. So even if it's like starts like really rudimentary in a way, you've got to think about how your body's stacked on, head down to your toe. So in that sort of movement, body vertical position of the body is kind of centered between the front foot and the back foot there.
And you'll feel it at the hips too. If you're moving and you feel yourself dropping forward or you're leaning forward, you'll begin to notice that. So just pay attention.
That's a really, really good point. All right, we're gonna go backwards leaps. So actually let's walk up here and we'll go away from the camera so you can see that. Just 10. Focal point here is roll off the heel. All right?
Hopefully.
Even if it slows down a little bit, just feel like you're rolling off from the kind of forefoot off to the heel. Cool, that's nice, feels good. Yeah. And the last one we'll do like just a set of bounds, but I think we'll go kind of across the whole court. But we'll keep it really short, keep it real small and condensed in terms of the amplitude of it. Just watch these leaves, just in case they're a little wet. They shouldn't be too bad. All right, again, and it's all about, I think when you get through these light tier movements, it's all about that feel and sensation. How do your foot feel when you hit the ground? If there's a little tentative still, just gradually ramp that up. All right. Cool. Cool. Like for me, in terms of like if I ever feel like I'm not necessarily like fully ready for like unilateral work, it's always that, like, I think subconsciously my body's like questioning, like, how does my foot feel when I, you know, if I land it a little bit out in front of me and then try to pull through that hard, does my leg like posteriorly go, whoa, you're not ready for that, dude. So like the more that I think, stack it like right under hip, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm good there, I'm good there.
And I think for me, not being too forward and hitting hard off of the front of my foot.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
and I think we talked about this last time, like, hey, if I'm going in at speed or if I don't control that, am I gonna feel that through the shin?
Yeah, massive points there. All right, awesome. I think I feel pretty good in terms of how we can now ramp this up. So we'll do a couple of those, I'm trying to think of the phrase that I use, crescendo. So you start small, build it up, and then you come back down. And I really like them. Like rhythm, feeling, sensation, how much can I put through the floor? Where do things fall apart? Okay, cool, I can kind of play on the edge here. Cool, now I'm finding that real nice kind of hitting pattern. Cool, now I can just chill, come back all the way down to real rudimentary.
So I use those quite a bit for patients.
Yeah.
Great way to help somebody understand where their comfort level is.
Yeah.
But whether you're somebody who's in rehab or somebody doing sport performance, I mean, it's the same across the board.
It's all the same.
Where's your comfort level? How do you feel doing it? Find that aspect and then build that out.
Yeah, 100%. So we're going to do some bilateral leaping. I mentioned to Derek that we're going to build up to a place where we feel like we can really strike the ground. It would kind of be like we're trying to score our best RSI. So really reactive and fast off the ground, but you're still pumping yourself into the air pretty effectively. We're going to do 5. When you reach that spot that you're comfortable, then we're going to just gradually ramp that back down. We'll review it, then we'll come back on camera, discuss it, and then we'll kind of go back and forth. So if you want me to go first, I'll go first, and then you can go after that. Cool. Just want to see how this feels as well. Kind of get rocking and rolling with it.
I wanted to talk over that and crack some jokes, not at your expense, but something really important here. If you listen to that sounded incredible, and that's a really important thing for if you're learning this stuff. Don't just watch. It's not just about visual cueing. Understand how to listen for some of these things.
Yeah, massive point, because there's a misnomer in the industry that plyometrics should be quiet. And because Derek and I have been in amongst the track community, when you watch the best people that you've ever seen on the track, you can hear them. You hear them fly by when they sprint, or you hear them boom, boom, boom in the triple jump, or you hear that big hit of a takeoff board in the long jump. There's no quiet movement when you're really trying to attack the floor. So that's an awesome point. If it's crisp, you can hear rhythm from it as well. We've really built as humans to understand the sound of things. If it sounds off, probably if you looked at it, it's going to be off.
And you'll notice the different sounds. You'll notice when something sounds off. You'll notice when the rhythm and timing is off.
Yep.
That's important. That's a cue.
Yep.
So
yeah, huge, huge.
Okay. As much as I want to say I'm rhythmic, I don't know if I can do it as.
That was nice. I thought that you.
Try.
Yeah, before that.
More stoke in the face. I'm like, relax.
I don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit this rhythm. I was like, I don't know, man. That was pretty nice. That was pretty nice. This drill as well is also something that you can use if you want to find rhythm. Like I always tell people that sometimes when you push everything to the nth degree, it's really hard to find rhythm because you're trying so hard to focus on that like individual hit. But you like tone it down just enough to where you feel comfortable, but you can still hit those outputs. You can find rhythm, and then you start to find that, wow, these are probably better takeoffs than if I was to try maximally. Yeah. Because then it loses that smoothness. So I don't know, how did you feel on most of those?
I felt pretty good. Actually,
good?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, all of it felt pretty solid.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is don't confuse the power and pop off the ground as I need to slam my foot into the ground for the sake of making a noise.
The noise, for sure. There's thuds and then there's crisp, clean hits, right?
Yeah.
And crisp, clean hits, and that pop comes from like great precision.
Yeah.
And that takes time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's going to take you time, but if you were to do this for a few weeks, you'll probably get 3 or 4 weeks in. Whatever level you're at, it doesn't have to be super high like we're trying to achieve. You'll probably find that, oh, this is starting to sound and feel a lot better. So it's all about time, working those skills and so on. So yeah. All right, let's have a look.
Oh, we didn't even review the last one.
All right, we're going to review the next one. Had a little technical issue, but we're back into it. So, big focus for me, speed on the ground. I feel like I did 2 or 3, and then I started to lose the speed on the ground, and I'm trying to hit then, okay? So. I'll try to go fast, and I'll lose the pop completely. That's cool. All right, Derek's going to jump in now.
Okay, the thing that I want to work on is he was able to ramp up and his timing still sounded, pretty even for the most part all the way through. And I feel like in my first set, my timing wasn't as even. So work on it. We'll see how it goes.
That's it. Keep that. Boom. There you go. There's a couple in there that were really nice. That's that
yeah.
That, like twitchability, that reactivity, that
you made me no, I'm just kidding.
that sting, right?
Yeah.
That's really nice. Okay, cool. We're gonna review it and then we'll kind of discuss those points. So what I think I felt sensationally was exactly what I observed on the camera when we looked at it. It's like you like tilt it to one direction just a bit too much. So I tried to maintain a fast ground contact time, but I lost output in doing so. So like the final set that we'll do of these, I want to tilt that back over to still getting the pop into the air, but it's going to be maybe a little touch longer on the ground, which I'm okay with. And I think there is always that, you would have heard it from coaches as you were, an athlete, it's like faster on the ground, and you're like, if I go too fast, I lose, the output. And there has to be this balancing act. What did you observe in yours, Derek?
In mine, I would actually say the same thing in terms of sensation.
Yeah.
I had a few where I felt like I was popping off the ground really nice, but even the way through, I felt like I could have spent a little bit more time on the ground just to solidify kind of each pop.
Yeah. Sensationally, you chase that. I think the hard court also kind of steals that want to try and create like a cracking effect off of it.
Yeah.
If you were on turf, you don't get quite the sound that you do on a hard court, so you don't chase that crisp sound as much. But if you get it even just a little slower on it, you're like, oh, this doesn't sound as nice. So that could skew how you hear things as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Let's do a third set. Big focus on just trying to balance ground contact time being fast and output being high. Also I felt like I was dumped here a little bit. I want to try and sit a little bit better so I can boom, really react to that.
I agree with that for me too. Not for nothing. I don't know so much leaning, but just sitting back into it a little bit more. Yeah.
I don't know what it is when I come back down. I stop trying, and it's like I feel like you just dropped like a rubber ball, and it's like dun 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 dun. Like I'm doing nothing, coming back down on it. There's something about it that feels amazing. All right, let's see it.
And then I still liked my whole crescendo decrescendo for the last one.
Yeah.
Compared to the first one, so I'm gonna try and keep that.
There you go.
I don't know if that was 5, but No.
I mean, it's irrelevant. The numbers are relevant. It's like
it's okay.
Find it, go through a few reps, keep those sensations there, then come back down.
Yeah.
Just observing you like that was, you found like a sweet spot in the middle. I think you potentially may have set your posture in like just a slightly better position, and I think it landed you like a little bit further behind the ball of your foot.
Yep.
And then you can like, it's such a big thing with where you land on the part of your foot, and that if I land more forefoot, there's like this dumping of my knees forward, or like my torso drops. But when you're centered a little bit, it's not like flat foot splat, but it's just behind the ball of your foot, so that you feel that reverberation up through your body rather than like kinked in at your hip so that your back gets a lot of it, or whatever that it could be affecting up the chain. And that straight away
felt a lot snappier.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Really nice. Cool. Good last one to finish on. I think because those are relatively intense, I want us to move on to some deep tier stuff. We won't do too much medium tier, just because Derek, you said that you ran and you probably got quite a lot of that volume in your legs anyway. My legs are probably not ready for any more medium tier stuff and like high extensivity stuff. I wanted us to focus on high intense bout, get out, get some deep tier in, and get rocking and rolling. Cool with that?
Sweet.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so I want us to start out with some oscillatory stuff. So this isn't necessarily in the intermediate program, but like sometimes I like to just chuck an oscillation in there to then get ready for some bigger, deeper range of motion stuff. So if you're using plus plyos programs, you can do that as well. If you're not, you're doing some deep tier work after some like real intense ping work, get into just an oscillatory based movement. So what we're going to do is we'll do a set of just on the spot, just deep oscillations like this. We'll go through 10, just nice and slow, controlled. Do you use much oscillatory based stuff with?
Yes. Don't finish that. Yes.
Yes.
All the time.
Where's a big area where you're like, this has such a big impact?
Honestly, with lifting.
Yeah.
That's where I've kind of noticed it the most for me.
Yeah.
Especially, I typically have a hard time getting in and out of like a deep position in a squat.
Yeah.
Have some hip history on that side from hurdles. But the deep tier work helps me get in and out of it. I feel a lot more comfortable. I'm able to take on weight a lot easier through those ranges. Yeah. So that's where I use it quite a bit.
Nice. Yeah. It's a big thing for me, is like telling people about building confidence in a low position. Like I think we have these two fight or flight modes when it comes to overload. And it's number one, it's in external overload. It's a weight on your back, or it's velocity.
Sure.
So if you can get someone that's maybe intimidated with the external overload at depth, and I'm the same. I still love going maybe like in and around or just below parallel on like a back squat. But now I use a lot more oscillatory based movement, and I'm dropping into that motion and being like, oh, okay, I can sit here and I can feel comfortable and I can get out of it, and I can use like a reflexive pop out of the bottom of it. So it's a huge point, huge point.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is when I'm feeling kind of froggy or aggressive, then I'll get into it too. Like if I want a plyo day and I really want to do something like that's a bit more athletically based, I throw them in.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to try this one with you.
Okay.
Just one more before we get onto the big deep tier stuff. We've got a helicopter going over. Woo. That's military, right? That looks military.
Yep.
Badass.
You'll get used to them. Those are the ospreys.
Yeah. So I wanted to go dun, dun, dun.
I like this.
Dun. Just be careful of that back knee. Maybe it's a bit of a bigger out. So you're going to go boom, 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 boom. You got to get that back leg out fast. Holy moly!
Man. Okay. All right. We'll get there.
I saw someone doing this the other day. I was like, that's a cool progression or variation. Maybe it's a short split. There you go. How's that feel?
We'll play with it. It feels good. If I go long, I feel like I have to externally rotate.
Externally rotate. Okay, cool.
Also, guys, my legs compared to my torso. I mean, my torso is short, so it's weird. It's okay though. We'll get there.
This is why this man is like powerlifting in the deadlift at the moment and being super strong. I'm the opposite. I'm long torsoed. Like I was called long-legged, and like they use the phrase lanky in the UK. It's like just super long. I'm like, I've grown into adulthood and I'm like, my legs aren't actually that long. I'm just relatively tall.
my hip's like right here. like, what?
Crazy. This is why this guy hurdled. This is why he hurdled. Okay, cool. So maybe that variation's another one for another time.
No, that's good.
I think I need to compute it in my mind a little better.
Yeah, same.
I think it's probably come from an Olympic weightlifter. So these guys are like doing boom into like a split stance. And you're like, oh, okay, that's quite quick.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's go with, I want to go through, we'll start with just some basic deep tier leaps just to get things moving. We'll go through 10. Didn't do anything. All right. Okay.
Where we at? I just want to see it.
Yeah, let's go. So just to...
Oh, dropping it. Okay.
Yep. Ooh. Might need to go forward. Okay, I overestimated that. I'm going to go back. We'll do another 4 or 5.
Those feel good.
They do.
Those feel really
You get
good.
into it, you're like, oh, that feels nice.
I just like floating.
People get intimidated by it. Let's do another 4 or 5 of those because. Oh yeah.
It's my jam.
You know what would be amazing is like over time, someone wanders by, they're doing like a little workout or out walking, trying to get some steps in, and they're like, oh, what are you guys doing? Start to join in, and then like 6 months time, we've got like 50 people jumping around.
That would be cool. I get that at the gym a lot, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
It's usually older adults, but I'll hop into this stuff and they're like, what are you doing? What are you training for? and then they're interested in hopping in. So that makes me really happy because I'm like, cool, you're interested in doing this thing that you're...
The older generation, man, they're sometimes more interested in being athletic than the younger generation. The younger generation like feel this need to be aesthetic or to look in a certain way.
Yeah. Older
People, Derek and I are also moving in that older direction. But we feel good because we're doing athletic stuff.
Yes.
And older people want to do athletic stuff, and it's like part of this like longevity feeling of you. You want to stay and feel youthful. You do youthful things, right?
Yep.
So, okay, let's go. Let's go back to some on-the-spot work, and we're going to do a split stance, and it's going to be a slalom-based split stance. Okay.
Ooh, love these.
So, in here, and we're going to control.
Let me give you a little bit more room. Okay.
Just do 10 of these. I never keep count whilst we're recording some of this stuff, man. I'm like, yeah, it's about 10.
I think this feels right.
Yeah. You get a feeling of time when this sort of stuff rolls regularly. All right, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Oh, I got fatigue towards the end there. All right, so swan hop, always nice to go. Keep that torso over. There you go.
Oh. Ooh, it's been a while.
All right, cool. So last one, split exchange leaps. It's all about control because you're dropping into a deep position at velocity. You get that exchange in the air. Good, feels nice. So keep that length. Badass chopper in the background.
Hey!
All right, cool. So another like great session. I feel good, come off the back of it. How's the lower legs? Lower legs feel pretty good?
Yep, I'm all good here.
Yeah, awesome. I'd say actually I've just got generalized fatigue in like my quads, a little bit on my glutes, but nothing crazy.
Same.
Intrigued to see how those intensive landings feel kind of later on or tomorrow. But realistically, like I feel pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how things are developing, and I want to just see how this really develops over like the next 6 to 12 weeks. And that's a big time frame difference, but I think in 6 weeks we'll start to see that we're just getting that crispness of hitting those landings well, finding those rhythms, and then like double that period, and then you're talking about like actual physiological adaptations and changes to the tissue. So yeah, I'm excited, man.
Same.
Had a little talk as well about how we might want to chase some vertical takeoff numbers. I'm so stoked that the week that I'm turning 33, I hit a 41-inch vert. And this guy's like, let me get a little taste of that. I want to get back to some single leg takeoff. So, you know, both ex-high jumpers that, like we were saying as well, like I said, you just lose that feeling and sensation. You said to me, I've been doing so many off 2 feet over a long period of time. It's like, how do I get that feeling back? And it'll come.
Yeah.
100%. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We will rip another one next week. We're trying to, you know, keep this up, keep doing one a week. Friday seems like a nice time period to do it as well. We'll get some amazing locations down here in Southern California. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and get over to our Instagrams as well, which I'll link in the comments below. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Later, guys.